welcome. We'll just let some folks shuffle in here. Sidebar: I got locked out of my X account on my phone, so I am trying to share.
Do you think that Lane Kiffin had anything to do with that?
Maybe if he's got some pull with
Elon.
Yeah, with Elon. So I have to use the arrows to move the person to the indicated seat. This is so confusing.
What does that even mean?
I have to This is This is only an Elon. You've proven you're human. You can continue. Sweet.
Nice.
Okay. Well, I am coming to us mobile. So I can't really see how many people we got on here. So that'll be on you.
I can certainly communicate that. So far we have 2, and one of them might be you.
Okay. I'm in. I'm gonna share this now. Round 2 reactions. We're gonna repost that. Okay. Did you see that comment from? Did I send that to you on YouTube? I think it was like Chris Lightmore, whatever his name is, Ryan Lightmore. Hope he gets in here tonight. But
oh yeah,
he commented on YouTube of like, why you guys do the 30-second countdown? Give people a chance to run away. So
nice.
Excuse my cough, everybody. Just fighting some sickness as of lately. So it is what it is. Also coming to you.
I want to know where the sorry. I'm just hoping that there's some Lions fans on here, but go ahead and go with the intro.
Yeah, so I'm coming to you before I get to the intro from my car tonight. I'm a little bit in transit, so bear with us on that. But given the awesome day of college football, we wanted to jump on here and talk a little football. So here we are. Welcome to the Sideline Podcast. And welcome to 2025. Happy New Year, everybody. My name is Kevin Showalter, and my co-host is Jared Booker. We are 2 best friends who love college football and hope to help you guys create unbeatable fantasy football teams. But as I was telling people today on X, we're not just a fantasy football podcast or show. We want to talk all things football, NCAA, NFL. But we have been covering pretty exclusively Campus to Canton type of leagues. And shout out those of you who have been following. We will be giving out some more listener league spots here in the near future. So when we post those things, feel free to share. We usually try to keep the bar of entry pretty low. So it's usually a simple like the post or something like that. We're not asking for I'm seeing a big old picture of Cam Scatabo.
Oh, yeah. So that's for later. That's for later.
Booker's like, yo, this intro's taking way too long. Today we're going to be breaking down some of the college football games, some fantasy football news, and without further ado, we wanted to start with just acknowledging the events in New Orleans, the Sugar Bowl getting postponed, just a tragic situation. Neither of us is well enough versed to speak eloquently. We are, just as Booker posted earlier, like our hearts go out to the families who lost loved ones to start this year. And just good reminder that the world is bigger than sports, and there's real people with real families. And so, just our hearts and prayers to everyone involved. And so the blessing.
Also, like I know that no life is like more important than another. But something I did read about that event in New Orleans is did you know that Jack Beck, the tight end / wide receiver for TCU, his brother was one of the victims. He's a Princeton. Princeton wide receiver, Tiger Beck. He was one of the folks that was who lost their lives last night. So obviously, no one's more important than any other person. But I mean, it's just wild. It's so needless. It's so needless. So
yeah. So as give people a chance. I'm just trying to pull it open on X, and we'll see if we get people jumping in here. Lions fans, Eagles fans, we're gonna start with college football, and then we will get into the NFL stuff. So it might take a little bit of patience, or just check back in with us in about 30 minutes. We are going to cover college football first, and then we will get into wide receiver duos, Saquon Barkley, all of that stuff. Feel free to get the party started in the chat. If you have strong opinions, we'd love to hear all of them. But yeah, without further ado, so man, excuse me. I'm not. That's the last time I'll say excuse me, because I'll probably cough a lot. And my apologies. We're powering through. So Texas versus Ohio State, Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
Whoa.
Yeah. What?
You know what? Hold up here.
Ohio State.
Texas versus Arizona State.
He just. I don't like to throw people under the bus, but my wonderful co-host made our outline, and I read it straight off the deep end there. So
luckily, there's
that.
only 7 people on there. Yeah, I jacked that up again. Before we get started, I did want to say one thing. You did mention it, but NFL fans, I know that Kevin has been going buck wild about like wide receiver duos all day, and there's been quite a bit of activity on that. If you have an opinion, as Kevin said, we are going to go ahead and start with college football, but our goal, especially early on in this podcast, is to interact with anyone who's listening, anyone who posts a comment. So if you have something that you'd like to say that you want us to like address directly on the live stream, feel free to throw that comment in the chat. And even if we don't, directly address that right now, we will when we get to the NFL section. But anytime, there was a couple weeks ago that we had quite a time interacting with some guys on X and on YouTube, and it was just a blast. So feel free, don't be afraid to do that. Without further ado, I did jack up the outline. It was Texas versus Arizona State, not Ohio State.
It's all good. I just took the bait, man, hook, line, and sinker. So
that was on purpose.
Yeah, we are known to rabbit trail, and so yeah, just here we go. All right, so Ted, this was a heck of a game. I like watched it a little bit early, and then I was like, oh man, Texas is hammering Arizona State. I was working, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just I want to see the bigger games later today. I turned it back on, and it was here we go. I turned it back on, and it was the not Scatterable. It was Levitt going for 2. I think it was 24-22. And Levitt ran like 75 yard zigzag pattern. They end up not getting it. They throw a penalty, hand it off to Scatterable. They tie the game 20-24. That or 24-24. So that was my welcome to. I gotta figure this out. Welcome to this game, and yeah, I was locked in from that point because I was like, this is awesome. I'm a known Lane Kiffin hater, and so I was rooting hard for Arizona State to win this game. You could definitely tell. Sorry, let's start with Scatterable, not Jordan Tyson. Scatterable, I've posted it several times today. I wanted Arizona State to win this game most because this should have been called the Cam Scatterable game in the annals of history. Threw a touchdown, caught a touchdown, and ran for a couple, I believe. Let me see, gets these stats in front of me here. Yeah, he threw for a touchdown pass, ran for 2. He did not catch a touchdown, but 8 for 99 yards is truly. Sorry, I'm just.
No, you're good. But before we continue on, I saw this. So just so everyone knows, when Kevin says we rabbit trail, what he means is I, Booker, rabbit trail. And so let me take you on a quick rabbit trail.
Also but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you do, but I mean, I kind of do the most. So I did a little sneak peek of this accidentally earlier. But so I was scrolling through X and I came across this picture. Is there another father and son duo that look more like one another than Leo Scatterable and Cam Scatterable or Scatterable? I don't know. I just felt like I had to make a slide. Are those guys not like almost like the exact same human?
Yeah, I was really confused because when I saw that live, I was like, Cam Scatabo, the proudest dad in the country. And then I was like, wait, did he post that himself? And then I finally saw Lee Scatabo. Yeah, but you're right. They're literally. I've gotten that my son looks a lot like me, and that is like they are carbon copies of one another. So
Yeah, my theory is that in the first half, it was actually Leo Scadaboo that was on the field, and that's when Scadaboo was kind of getting stuffed quite a bit against Texas, and
yep.
then he tagged in Cam tagged in for the second half and had that monster second half. So yeah, we can continue on. I just wanted to throw that out there, and I took the time to make this slide, so there was no way I was gonna let it go.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, should he be invited to the Heisman? If this game happened prior to the voting, would he have won? Do you have a strong opinion on that? Again, this is going to be a fun show because you created the outline, but I'm kind of steering the ship, and so we're gonna see where this leads us. But yeah, did you have a strong opinion on that? Whether or not I think he's finished what, fourth or fifth, I think, in the voting. Is that correct?
I believe so, but I don't have a super strong opinion. But so last night, and we'll get into this game, but the Penn State Boise State game, I was pretty surprised and a little disappointed that Ashton Jeanty did not make more of an impact on that game. But like Cam Scadaboo is the only reason Arizona State was in this game today against Texas. And so after watching him, and I mean everyone was watching him throughout the season, he actually looks for contact. He looks for the next guy that he can run over. And his contact balance is incredible. And so he just has some really great highlight reel runs this season. I think he should have at least been invited. But when I look at who was invited, I'm not sure who. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure who I would have replaced or put him in as. But like he had, if this game happened prior to the Heisman voting, I do think that the discussion would have been a little bit more heated for Cam Scadaboo because I was very impressed with him today.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely was a beast from a fantasy football perspective. I believe he was our most valuable player when our awards show. But I don't know if he should have been invited. I mean, I don't think two running backs are going to get invited to the Heisman as finalists, especially with the defensive player and the best quarterbacks. It would have been crowded. But a great season, and he is an absolute warrior. Wow. Just powering through like Scott. He was puking on the sideline. Is that correct? Did I not?
Yeah.
Just what an animal. I'm gonna keep us straight here and not go into Boise State and Ginty, but you're just kind of baiting me to do that. But we'll stay true. The announcers mentioned it, but Arizona State could have really used a bona fide stud wide receiver in overtime. I think that was evident, especially in that second overtime, of how. Oh yeah, there you go. That's you commenting. So yeah, that would be my thought. Is he definitely missed him. Ewers, should he have stayed in the game? I mean, Ewers should have stayed in the game. Ewers turned that game around. The last play was the first overtime, and then the first play of the second overtime. Like the game was not over, but you're like, oh wow, Texas is not playing around. So I know you like to stir that pot of the Arch Manning buzz, but Ewers is the leader of this team. He's the vet. He's experienced. You don't just yank your guy. Doesn't mean I don't know if Arch had any.
I don't think he had any role in this game, and the only reason I even threw that question out there is because it was in the fourth quarter. It was it was towards the end of the game where like this. I think the game was tied, and on first down, Trey Wisner had a good first down gain. I think it was 2nd and 2 or 2nd and 3. and Quinn Ewers tries to force the ball down the field and throws a pick. And so I just, I don't know. Quinn Ewers is that guy where you're like, if you have him on your fantasy team, or if you're a Texas fan, like you said, you're probably not pulling him for a play like that, but you're scratching your head a little bit about like what are you thinking? Because he's just like he's always like an inch away from just being the guy. And yeah, they got the win today, but there were several moments where I was like, Arizona State's going to take this. They've handed the game over, and one of those plays was late in the game when Quinn Ewers made that ill-advised throw. And so that's the only reason I threw that question in there to get your thoughts on that. But I'm not super impressed with Ewers week in and week out personally.
Yeah, I hear you. I just think you're not going to, you don't want your teams flip-flopping that much. Man, clearly I'm powering through. Sorry, everybody.
Do you want me to keep rolling and you drink some water?
You're good. Why don't you get us going on Ohio State versus Oregon? That'd be a good transition.
Well, okay. So I guess for the sake of time, let's get rolling on that. So yes, Ohio State versus Oregon in the Rose Bowl. My very first bullet point is belt to rear end. I was not expecting that. It was 31-0 as we approached halftime. Oregon did score in the last like 2 or 3 seconds and convert the 2-point conversion to make it 31-8 going into halftime. But my goodness, like I am a Tennessee fan. I know we got absolutely whipped a couple weeks ago by Ohio State. But as a Tennessee fan, I felt a heck of a lot better watching the number one team in the nation get handled like that. I mean, Ohio State is getting hot at the right time. I still think that, I mean, and maybe this is just like, well, yeah, Jared, of course. But like, Will Howard is playing lights out. He has all, like, Emeka Egbuka, Jeremiah Smith. He's got, Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins behind him. He has all the tools to be elite every single week. But throughout the regular season, I didn't get the impression that he was consistent enough. But for the past 2 games in this CFP, he has been throwing dimes. There were some incredible balls that were thrown against Tennessee, and then today against Oregon. He is playing as good as any quarterback. Like I would not normally say this, but he is playing much more consistently. I would choose Will Howard over Quinn Ewers in this moment, and I normally wouldn't say that. So Jeremiah Smith, they were talking about, man, if he was NFL eligible, he's ready to enter right now. Obviously, he's not, but he went 7 for 187 and 2 touchdowns. The kid has the confidence and the skill and ability to just wreck the game. And so I don't know. I'm wowed watching him. Yeah, my goodness. It looks like I messed up this. Oh, wait. No, I didn't. Okay, we're good. Yeah, did you watch any of that game, Kev?
Oh, yeah. I watched. I mean, I turned it on at 24-0, and I was like, oh, crap. This is already, like, not a great game. And so, yeah, I watched most of it. I was putting my kid to sleep when they went for the 4th and 4, and they didn't go for it. I mean, I didn't see it, but I'm like, how do you not go for it on that play?
Yeah.
Like, teams just give up. Like, they punted with 6 minutes left in the game, I think. It's like, what are we doing? Like, the national championship's on the line, and you're going to punt the ball away? Like, just throw in your surrender white flag at that point. I don't know. I get it, but Ohio State looked great. I think your tweet about if this is the Ohio State team that shows up, Texas is going to be in trouble, and I think that is fully accurate. This Ohio State team looks unstoppable. I mean, 2 really good running backs. They're honestly a better version of Penn State, which it pains me to say that, but it's like other than like Penn State, those graphics where it shows a comparison of like teams, O line, all the skill positions. I feel like tight end we have it in Warren, but everything else is Ohio State. And we have two good running backs. They have two really good running backs. We have a pretty good quarterback. They have a really good quarterback. Receivers, they have really. And so yeah, it's just they are a well-oiled machine right now, and they have the chip on the shoulder. I had a tweet ready to go, and I never hit send on it, but it was like I think when Ryan Day is angry and like coaching for his life is the best version of Ryan Day, and we are getting it right now. Like he's not coming out scared like, oh crap, they're gonna fire me. He is like, I'm gonna tear this all down on my way out. So shout out to him. Really, yeah.
Yeah.
Texas definitely. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, the less talking I do, the better.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
just not feeling it.
Yeah, no, you're doing a great job, and I believe all the 17 people on this live stream would agree. So,
shout out
Texas, as you said, I'm not sure. I am not an Ohio State fan. I never have been, even before Tennessee got laid out. So I am pulling for Texas in the next round. But if Texas shows up as inconsistent as they were today, I told my wife that I was like, wow, okay, I think we can get some chores done around the house because it's 14. Like Texas has put up 14 points in 2 offensive plays. I think we can go ahead and get some chores done. And then they would turn the ball over or would allow, ASU to get down the field to kick another field goal or whatever it may be. They let Arizona State hang around. And I think that it's more, I apologize, Arizona State fans. I think it was more the ineptitude of Texas and the inconsistency of play with Texas than it was the performance and the talent of Arizona State. Like, absolute, I don't know. They played lights out, and what they were last year and compared to what they are now, I'm very, very impressed. But I think Texas allowed them to stay in the game, and you cannot allow Ohio State that same chance. Otherwise, it's going to be another drubbing. And so I hope Sarkisian can put it together and figure something out, because it was not a good showing for them, but for Ohio State it was. And I don't know if you saw, so I read this, I didn't watch it live, but Dan Lanning in the post game press conference, he says, sometimes it's not your day. It wasn't our day today, and it wasn't their day against Michigan. What do you think about that? Like, just that final little shot across the bow.
Just pettiness, man.
Out.
Yeah, that's A-level petty is what that is. Yeah, that is high level pettiness. TL, welcome to the chat. I cannot respond to people tonight, so if you can just keep an eye on that. I think I can see them coming through, but I cannot respond with my mobile setup. But I got you, TL. Ohio State versus Penn State for the Natty. I mean, I hope it happens, but I don't know if Penn State's going to hold up their end of the bargain. My father-in-law was over tonight celebrating New Year's, and honestly, he was like, is Penn State legit? Are they going to be able to make it? I'm like, man, I wish, but I don't know. Like, James Franklin, is he gonna perform in the big game? Drew Aller gives me a little bit of those vibes. It's like, is he gonna show up when I need him the most? He makes, like, that throw to Tyler Warren, back of the end zone. Like, it was a good catch. It was an elite throw. Like, they showed us they showed a camera shot from like behind Aller to that end zone, and it was like 2 or 3 defenders. And the distance, like, again, football fields are wide. So, like, he was like on the left hash, throwing to the right corner of the end zone, a dime, very back edge, and it had to be a perfect throw. I think it was 3rd or 4th down. Like, Drew Aller can make incredible throws, and then he does Carson Wentz type of stuff where just it's unbelievable. Like he will be great, and then he won't be. And so I hope Big Ten represents. That will make the Lane Kiffin hater in me happy. But I don't know. I don't know if it's a great value version of Josh Allen. That's exactly right, TL. That is precisely it. And so again, I think he is coming back next year. I think that's why Bo Prabula transferred. I think that will do him well to have another season. No matter what happens this year, I think they will. They'll be a good team again next year. They're going to lose the 2 running backs, but yeah, I hope that's a good prediction. So I didn't see Boise State, Penn State in the notes here, but why don't we touch? Yeah, you kind of opened the can earlier. That I've seen. Man, I'm about to go off on this because I'm a Penn State fan, and you're making me defend Boise State and Genty on this podcast. But like the amount of posts I've seen of Genty's draft stock is plummeting. It's like you were not watching the game if that's what you came away with. Like, was it his best statistical output? I would like to see any elite running back try to run against 8 or 9 man boxes the entire game. And so the key difference in Scatabo to Boise State is the quarterback play. Like, Boise State quarterback, 3 interceptions. Levitt ran for 60 yards, gives that running back or that running threat from the quarterback, and that makes a huge difference on defensive, how you can defend a runner. And so, yeah, Texas has a good run defense. Yeah, they were probably expecting a lot from Scatabo, but Arizona State had far more options where Genty is Boise State's only option, and Penn State knew it, and they were like, we're not going to let this quarterback – or no, we're going to invite this quarterback to beat us, and he just simply could not. And so, yeah, give me Genty on the Eagles as a backup to Saquon next year. I've posted a couple times. Derrick Henry, Ashton Genty on the Ravens. Like, if he goes somewhere that values running the ball, if the Steelers move on from Najee Harris, it's all about fit in the NFL and college. You have to go somewhere where the team is going to be in alignment with your skill set. And so I think Josh Allen coming out, as you mentioned, Josh Allen there, TL. Josh Allen coming out of Wyoming, there were some question marks. Like, is this guy going to be all that? Is he going to develop at the next level? And there was some question marks, but the Bills were fully in on his development, and let's build a team around him. Let's help develop this guy. And so, yeah, I think Genty is going to be like the jump cuts, and then there's a video out there of him breaking like 6 or 7 tackles for a 10-yard run. I'm like, against Hawaii, that's a 65-yard touchdown. Against Penn State, that's a 10-yard gain. And so, yeah, Penn State's given up one other 100-yard rusher all season. Ashton Genty, the second, is the second person to do that. He averaged about 4 yards a carry. Again, that's not his elite over 5 that he has averaged, but yeah, get out of here with this. Genty's not going to be, again, and people are saying his draft stock. I think running backs in this draft class aren't going to go in the first round. Maybe not the first 2 rounds. Someone will go in the second round. The reason being is there's so many good running backs in this draft that every team is going to be thinking, oh, I can wait. If I don't get Genty, I can get a Marion Hampton. If I don't get him, I can get Caleb Johnson. If I don't get him, I get Trevion Henderson. So, like, there's so many good running backs coming out in this class that I don't think any team is going to be like, ooh, I need to get in the first round. I'm going to make that investment in a running back. So, yeah, they might all fall because I don't think that people are going to be chasing early for the runners. But he's going to get drafted. I hope he goes to a good wife kick you out, Kevin. Yeah, that's right, boss. No, I'm out tonight in the car. So powering through Ryan and TL. They're our guys, man. They show up.
when we create some TSP swag, they are going to be the first. They're going to be the first to get some free swag. Let's just say that.
Ryan, I loved your comment on YouTube. Give us another comment here. What's your Twitter handle? Do you have Twitter? We've been trying to get in touch with you, but yeah, send us a message or something on X to let us know. But anyway,
I've got a question before we move on.
Penn State, Boise. Any other thoughts? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask you: would you rather have Ashton Jeanty or Cam Scadaboo?
Ooh.
If your Eagles could have one to back up,
I would go Jeanty. I would go Jeanty.
You go Jeanty?
He's the elite combo of size to speed to power, where the big running back doesn't always translate. The twitchy small, like this perfectly describes it. So Bucky Irving has been going absolutely nuclear for the Buccaneers. The reason is he's almost so small the defense can't see him. And so when you're like 5'8", 5'9", the defense literally can't see you behind all these trees. And so that is to your advantage as a running back. When you're 6 foot 6'1", a little more wide body, you're just easier to spot. And he's not and Scadaboo's just not as twitchy. I mean, he is Jerome Bettis. He's a white Jerome Bettis, which is not a bad, better pass catcher. I think they're both going to be good, but give me the Ashton Jeanty, the twitch. I just think that is, that translate it on there we go. That translates on a field full of elite athletes. Having special level athleticism is going to be huge. So
yeah, that's fair. Well, I don't. Other than I posted a comment earlier, like someone, I forgot who it was, but someone said, hey, like the fact that Penn State had to beat SMU and then Boise State to get into it's a semifinal now, right? That's where they're
for Penn State. Yeah.
Yep. So the fact that they had to beat those two teams to get to the semifinal. And then you've got a team like Ohio State, even though they're playing lights out, they had to play Tennessee, which maybe some people think that's a hard matchup. Some of it, others won't. And then Oregon to get there. That's just, I mean, Oregon was undefeated, and the first game they had to play was against Ohio State. And then you got Penn State. I don't know. The last thought I have on it is that this seeding thing has to be figured out. For next year, because it seems like some teams had a more advantageous path to the semifinal than others, and I don't even know how you fix that. I'm just going to be the one that sits here in my house and complains about it. So
please do. I think next year they go. Actually, I had this thought tonight while I was watching the game, and I was telling my father-in-law. They're going to go 1 through 12, they're not going to give a first round bye to Boise State next year or that type of team next year. I think what you do to make the conference championship still valuable is say you will be no less than an 8 seed as a conference champion. And so what that means is you will either get the first round bye or you will get a home game if you're a conference champion. But that means Boise State, you're the 7 seed. Arizona State, you're the 8 seed. And if that's how the rankings fall. And so, because that's the fear is if they take away that first round bye, then, okay, teams aren't going to care about play cupcakes, go undefeated, and love it, Ryan. Convinced that the whole entire Oregon team was high as a kite. They had no game plan. Love it.
It did kind of seem that way.
Love it. That was a tricky game because I don't like either of those teams, and so I was cheering more for Oregon, I guess. But I just, in a perfect world, neither of those teams is in that spot. But the bracket is tough. I think every year there's going to be teams that are mad. I've been going after Lane Kiffin religiously because, I just think he's a whiny crybaby, and there's never enough SEC teams. And it's like, dude, that Arizona State game was like amazing. I don't know how it does on a ratings side, where if it was Alabama, Texas, yeah, sure, it might do a little bit better ratings, but that was an awesome game. Like, don't take that away from those Arizona State kids. SMU was a good team. Indiana, what a turnaround. Like, they deserved a shot at the playoff just because they're not an SEC team. We've seen throughout bowl season that, hey, these SEC teams getting embarrassed, neutral fields, on the road. It's obnoxious. So, one other thought on college, and then I think NFL peeps, we're waiting. We're almost there.
Well,
so, if our Detroit fans, I'm getting. Well, I'll come right to you. Is there any Detroit fans in this chat? Because TL, Ryan Lightmore, you guys are here for us. We appreciate you. But I said, Detroit homies, bring your A game here tonight. So we're almost ready for you. Get ready with this talk. Gee whiz.
He's true. He's right though. He's absolutely right.
Anyway, so I have one. I want to do that quarterback ranking, and then did you have something you wanted to cut in here with college before we move to more NFL stuff?
Well, so we're going to do the NFL ranking. I did want to throw out, so we do have, I guess maybe let me throw this up here real quick. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it because I know time is of the essence. This is the remaining bracket. Or no, the bracket after today. Obviously, the Sugar Bowl has to be played tomorrow. So we do have Texas, Ohio State. Winner, that goes to the championship. And then Penn State plays whoever wins tomorrow in the Notre Dame, Georgia game. Before we move on to Bowl Mania, real quick to give an update, do you have a pick on that Notre Dame, Georgia game? I think Georgia's going to take it, but it's going to be a lot closer than maybe people thought.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this last week. You would think, yeah, Georgia's going to blow them out, but I think in the last 7 meetings, it's been decided by one score, and so, excuse me, everybody. I think it's a close game. Notre Dame has big people, but yeah, I think Georgia pulls it out, even with Gunner. They're gonna be ready to go. They have a good defense, an elite defense. They have plenty of playmakers. I wouldn't be surprised if Notre Dame. Riley Leonard. He might get exposed in this game if he can't throw the ball. And so, yeah, we're gonna find out. But yeah, that's my thought on you. How about you? What's your prediction?
I think that's exactly right. I believe that Riley Leonard is the Achilles heel of that Notre Dame team. I think he is a good player, but I think he's going to be the one that gets exposed and ultimately the downfall for the Fighting Irish tomorrow in the Sugar Bowl. Yeah, that's my thoughts. So before we go to that, if you're okay with it, let me just throw this up here real quick. So as everyone may or may not know, the TSP had a Bowl Mania on ESPN competition. The winner of this competition gets the hat of whoever wins the championship. And so I'm going to throw this up here real quick. I am in second place, so I might be getting a new hat. But whoever Wilson is, you are one. Well, it looks like, yeah, we'll have to do the math on that. I don't know if that one extra win is the game that didn't actually count or not. But that's where we're at currently. There's only five participants in here, and 2 of those are these goons that you see on camera now. So we'll throw that out there. We'll keep you posted as we go. There's not very many bowl games to go. So the winner will be decided, and we'll make sure to communicate that. Ryan Lightmore, Notre Dame in the year of our Lord 2025, even though I hate Notre Dame. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's funny. But, yeah, Lightmore's a legend.
Lightmore is a legend. Okay, so do you want to go ahead and go to the –
is JMO's season 14-2. Are you in here? Where you at, man? You've been talking a lot of smack today. I'm ready for you. So
you should DM him and see if he'll jump on for a second.
I was gonna try. I can't. His DM's turned off for good reason because he's just talking
Trolling.
smack and then running. But anyway, get on here, defend yourself in our chat. All right, the last thing we were gonna do in college. So I'm trying to find it. Do you have that graphic? Yep, that's it. Yeah. So I had posted my top 4. I'm just trying to find here. Give me a second. So I ranked them Dylan Gabriel, Ewers, Milroe, Beck. And I'm not that. I mean, I guess I'm high on Dylan Gabriel. I just think there's a path. Like, he's efficient, he's accurate, he's pretty conservative with the ball. And from what I could tell today, he didn't lose them that game. They were just out of that game before it even started. And so, yeah, that's how I rank them. I posted as well, how would you rank those 4 quarterbacks? We've gone off several times in the past about Carson Beck. I think he still probably goes in the first round. Just NIL, driving the Lambo. I think it's hard to be motivated when you're sleeping on satin sheets. And I think you see it a little bit with Caleb Williams. I think you're seeing it with Carson Beck. These quarterbacks going into the NFL already having their money, already having a level of success. Are they hungry enough? And I'm not trying to question his heart, and I hope he recovers quickly from the UCL. But there's something to that of, are you still motivated? Are you still hungry to get after it? And I think his wide receivers let him down this year. If he goes to the Giants, I am going to lose my mind with humor because that would be the ultimate Giants thing to do. But how about you? Where would you rank those guys?
So I'm actually, man, I would put Carson Beck in 4. And I did ask our guys, TL and Ryan Lightmore, where they'd put those in the chat, where they'd rank those. So we'll announce that when and anyone else who's listening. I'd put Carson Beck at 4, but I would actually switch Quinn with Jalen. So I'd go Dylan Gabriel, Jalen Milroe, Quinn Ewers, Carson Beck. And I think that Jalen Milroe's ability to rush puts him above Quinn Ewers. I think Quinn Ewers is inconsistent. I know Jalen Milroe has been as well, but that rushing ability is what puts him over the top. And or not over the top, but over Quinn Ewers. And so I'd go Dylan Gabriel, Jalen Milroe, Quinn Ewers, Carson Beck. That's the order that I'd go. So we have not heard back from the other guys on what they think, but that's where I'd go.
Yeah. I think similar to Ginty, fit is going to be everything at the next level for these guys. Our team's going to build, a Jalen Milroe who's more of a runner. Has he declared that he's coming back or going to the NFL yet, or he hasn't yet? Okay.
He hasn't declared anyway.
I mean, Alabama's a dumpster fire right now, so it's hard to say that he will come back because I think he would have come back if they were a stable place. But with all the transfers, with all the drama, with all the losing, he played that entire game and they lost to Michigan. Man, we should get into that one. But I think he needs more time as a passer. And so I think going to the NFL, if he goes to the NFL and he doesn't go to the right place, I think it could be a short cup of tea in the NFL. And so I just think another year would do him well. When he makes it, I hope he goes to the right system because Milroe is a bum. Dylan has a major ego problem. Ryan Lightmotor for the win. So
he just tells the truth. He just tells the truth.
That's right. Once again, our boy. Sorry, I'm trying to find him. What did I say? J-Mo season? Where you at, man? Where's my J-Mo season?
Where's the J-Mo season at?
Yeah. Not on here, though, that's for sure. All right, so let's get into some NFL stuff. Unless you have anything else on college you wanted to touch on.
Gosh, I would just be interested in hearing if people are liking the 12-team playoff. It's the first year. I'll throw this out here. Feel free to comment if you want. It's the first year. There are things that need to be addressed. But for me, even though there's been a lot of blowouts, it's been fun. Like when it's long and drawn out, even if there are blowouts, the fact that I have college football to look forward to, that makes me a happy camper. So I think as we get closer and closer to the championship, games will become more and more competitive. But giving teams the chance to jump in there and give it their best shot. I mean, people have been asking for that for years. Like, there was a year a couple of years ago where Cincinnati had an incredible season, but because it was a 4-team playoff, they weren't going to make it in there. So, gosh, what was it? Was it South Florida? I think it was either South Florida or Central Florida. They also had an incredible season, but they weren't going to make it in there because they were not a Power 4 team. So I like the 12-team playoff. I know that some of these games are not competitive, but it allows these teams at least a chance. I mean, that's why they play the game. And so I like it. I would be interested in hearing I'd be interested in hearing what other people think. Real quick before we move on, though, Ryan Lightmore, no one talking about Howard or Aller. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Kevin. I know Aller is going back to Penn State next year. Howard, I believe, is 34 or 35 years old and has to come out. I'm just kidding. I know that's not accurate, but I believe he doesn't have any more eligibility. Honestly, Ryan, I would love to hear what you think about Ryan Howard or Will Howard. I do not think that he is consistent enough. I don't know what it is. I do not think. Okay, TL thinks that Will Howard will be a steal in the 15th round. That's probably true if he's in the 15th round. But I'm not drafting him thinking, oh man, I've got the quarterback of the future here. But that's just me personally. What do you think, Kev?
Well, I think Ryan Lightmore needs to show up on time. Is what I think. We already talked about Aller.
Come on, Ryan.
Maybe 30 minutes ago. So if you'd show up on time, you would have hit. Now I think he's talking about NFL type stuff. So
yeah.
I think Howard has a little bit of that Baker Mayfield piss and vinegar in the veins, and so I kind of like that in an NFL quarterback. Like Johnny Manziel was like the far spectrum of like, just too much sauce, not enough substance. Where I think Baker is that perfect blend of like, hey, this guy's gonna, he's gonna do the crotch grab, flip you off, cuss you out as he scores a touchdown, but he's going to throw 40 touchdowns. So I think Howard could be a decent pro, fit opportunity. We'll see what comes of it. I think Aller with another year to develop is going to help him a lot. Is he going to be more Josh Allen or more Carson Wentz or a Blake Bortles? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see on that. Again, it's just hard. The level of competition increases, and so. But I think Aller will get draft hype when he's coming out. He seems like the kind of guy who is going to light up a combine. Like I said, Ryan Lightmore, if you would have showed up on time, we were talking about that nasty throw that Aller threw to Tyler Warren, back right corner of the end zone, just an absolute dime. And so, yeah, he's going to do that kind of stuff at a combine, a pro day. He's going to do the roll left, throw it 80 yards, guy on the run, hit him in stride. But then on 3rd and 5, he's going to try that throw instead of hitting his check down. And so it only takes one team to say, hey, we want to take a shot on you. But he has the electric tools where I think he will get more draft buzz in 26 than a Will Howard will this year. Who will be the better pro? I don't know. I also agree. I love Baker too. So it's a good segue into our NFL chatter. Again,
I did
J-Mo?
send. I sent or I commented again, calling out JMO. I said, "Where are
Okay,
you at,
good.
man? We don't have time. We don't have time. We need you to come back it up." So
I don't have any Eagles fans really in here too. I thought maybe some Eagles. It's late. My Lightmore TL. What part of the country are you guys in? I can't remember if you had said this last time, but I sent out a call to some of my Philly faithful. But it's late. It's late in Philadelphia. You know they're probably already passed out from their New Year's drinking. So we're here on the West
should we
Coast.
start out earlier? Should we go to like for 7 o'clock Pacific time?
Maybe.
You
I
think
mean, TL, I saw your. Do you have a stream schedule? This is more of a one-off, just because of the games. Saturdays at 8 p.m. If you want to throw that in the chat book, that's our typical our weekly time. Saturday nights 8 p.m. This was just we had some great games today, so we want to jump on here and talk some football. So, yeah, check us out. You guys have been electric in the comments. North Burbs of Chicago. That's right. You're the Bears fan. And then TL, I don't remember where you're at, but all right. So NFL, are you Chicago or are you Detroit, Lightmore? North Burbs of Chicago. I don't think you'd be a Detroit fan, but for some reason I
no,
thought
he's
maybe
probably a Chicago fan, but we need to tread lightly with our man Ryan Lightmore because I know Chicago. I just do not understand why they've not been able to get it together, man. Like I actually like. I'm not even making fun of Chicago. Like
yeah.
I feel like they have the studs. They have got the people in place to make this a decent team, and it feels like they're cursed or something. I don't get it.
Well, I'm an equal opportunity offender of anybody who's not a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and so earlier this season I was going after the Bears pretty hardcore. Today I've been, throwing hands with some Detroit Lions fans. See here, yeah, you take a break whenever you got to. Okay, I'm here riding solo. Yeah, I don't know on the Bears though. I think is again Ryan Pace is your GM. But then, who is Kevin Warren? I've heard a lot on McAfee, on other places. Like this guy, Kevin Warren, is behind the scenes. He's the puppet master, in control of everything. And what that screams is dysfunction. And so, yeah, I just think the ownership, this Kevin Warren guy, Ryan Pace, the quarterback, it's just a hot mess. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't really like Caleb Williams at all, and so that was, I've been getting after it with people on Caleb Williams. I'm a big fan of Justin Fields. I think they did him dirty, and it is what it is. So, YouTube channel is just Sideline Podcast, Sideline FF Pod, I believe it is. I'll get Booker to post a link to that when he gets back. All right, so some NFL FL stuff. Saquon Barkley, Ryan Pace is gone. You think they're gonna fire him? Because they just hired him. It seems like if you were gonna clean house, you would have done that before drafting Caleb Williams. Like to draft Caleb Williams and then to fire everybody in sight is just such a bad way to run a team. And so they might fire Ryan Pace, but I don't know. I think just a hot mess. So let me give me 1 second here, Book. Let me just.
All right, everybody. So I am posting the link to our YouTube. There is that. Okay.
So go ahead.
Oh goodness, you know what? Golly, why did that not work?
Yeah, it's not it. Follow us on X too, but
you follow us on X?
While you're figuring that out, let me get into some NFL stuff here. So Saquon Barkley, what are you guys thinking in the chat? Any Eagles fans in here, let us know. Should he have gone for the record or not? I am fully on the camp of sit him down, We don't chase records. Unlike the Bears, we're chasing Lombardis. And so the standard is, did you win the Super Bowl? Sure, it would have been a great thing for him to. Yeah, I don't think that's the link either, their book. Why don't you just post like the name? I think it's just the Sideline Podcast, and the handle is Sideline FF Pod. So
I got it.
anyway, yeah, I think there's a lot of buzz of should they let him chase the all-time record. Oh yeah, there you go. My biggest thing is you can't just trot Saquon out there with all your backups. Like, so if you're gonna risk him, you're also risking your entire offensive line. You need your tight end in there. Like, you need the whole operation to do it. And 101 yards is not like, if it was 25 yards, I think they kept him in the game last game, or they might let him. Hey, you get a quarter, we'll try it. But 101 yards, that's not a given. And so against an angry Giants team that is going to want to stifle him, maybe even hurt him, no. Sit the man down. Give him a break. You didn't get the first round bye. Let's treat this like a first round bye. We can beat the Giants with our backups.
Spoken like a true Eagles fan. I want to see him break. I want to see him break that record, man.
He'll get another. A couple things. It's like he'll get another chance next year. Like, the O line is going to be good next year. He's barely been touched around the ball. Like, he's not that old, and so I just think he's got juice in the tank. There's no reason he couldn't go on another run next year. I know you're so close, but I think there's something to be said in getting the extra game. Also makes the record not as sweet. Like, back to college we go, because I also rabbit trail. Genty breaking the all-time college record in 14 or 15 games just doesn't hit the same as Barry Sanders doing it in 11. Like, I'm like, man, leave that record alone. Like, that man did that in 2,600 yards in 11 games is insane. And so to break it in 15 games, or Saquon to get the extra game, I just think it's a big deal. And I saw something today of, like, his dad would have loved, the Barkley name to be associated with that. Like, I get all of that, but we're chasing a Super Bowl. Bad teams think, let's break a record. Let's have the Hollywood narrative, because we're writing a movie to screw the Giants one more time. But you know what will actually screw the Giants is letting them win this game, and their draft position goes from like 2 or 3 to 10, and the amount of draft picks they're going to have to pay to go get a Shedeur Sanders is now going to screw their team for the next 10 years. So that is the best way to roast the Giants, is to let them win. Awesome. So, any other thoughts on that?
I mean, as a non-Eagles fan, I'm a Bills fan, so there's some potential for a real incredible live stream here as we move towards the Super Bowl. If it is Eagles versus the Bills, I think, I don't know, we might be on 24/7 until the end of that game. And so I would be interested in knowing if people, like, if the Eagles and the Bills meet in the Super Bowl, who wins that game? Like, I know you're an Eagles fan, but are you afraid of the Bills?
Not at all.
In the Super Bowl? Really? Why?
Not at all. Because I think the emotional victory will come from beating Mahomes. For the Bills, I also think the biggest hump to get over is the Eagles beating Mahomes in the Super Bowl. I don't think anybody else I'm even worried about. Like, our team fell apart last year, and we beat the Bills at home in a close game. I don't think we would blow them out, but our defense is significantly better than theirs. We can run the ball. Jalen Hurts has been to the Super Bowl before. I think our linebackers are playing really well. Like, Zach Bond should be Defensive Player of the Year, and nobody outside of Philly fans is talking about him. But having an elite linebacker is how you stop a running quarterback, and we have two of them. And so, yeah, I'm not worried about anybody in the Super Bowl except for the Chiefs. Main reason I'm worried about the Chiefs is because of them freaking referees. So, all right.
There's something to that. So you would say that the Kansas City Chiefs, that is who you said the Bears are cursed. Bill's Super Bowl. Yeah. No, I was born in 1990, so I was just a baby and not cognizant of all that was happening in the NFL world. But I know the Bills have had quite a cursed run in the Super Bowl. Ryan, I get it, man. So
should we tell the boys how you became a Bills fan?
All right. So yes, let's go ahead and do that. So I grew up. I'm from Tacoma, Washington. I do not like the Seattle Seahawks, and I never will, because I'm a diehard college football fan. What Pete Carroll did to the USC Trojans. Sorry, I'm just not. I know that he's no longer there, but I'm not gonna jump on the Seahawk bandwagon. I am a Buffalo Bill. The way that happened is Kevin and I have been friends for over a decade, and about, it's 2025 now as of today. Happy New Year, everybody. It must have been like probably 12 years ago. Kevin and I found this like Buffalo Bills t-shirt in a Goodwill, and I thought to myself, and this was when the Bills were just bad, like perennially bad, just like the Cincinnati Bengals back in the day. So I came to Kevin and I was like, Kevin, like, why don't we become Bills fans? Because like I don't know any Bills fans. So we became Bills fans, and Kevin not as much because he's from the Philly area.
I'm a sympathy Bills fan.
He's a sympathy Bills fan.
You don't like that terminology, but that's what it was. Especially at that time, it was a sympathy Bills fan.
It was a sympathy Bills fan. I am a straight up Bills fan. I chose it over a decade ago, and now I'm stuck for life.
It was, you like the Chargers, and I think they had announced they were going to LA, and you do not like LA, and so I think there was some of it there for you as well. But yeah, that random piece of clothing at Goodwill, and you're like, all right, let's be Bills fans. So
yeah, I'll tell you what, when LaDainian Tomlinson was at San Diego, and you had Phillip Rivers, that was in pun intended here, that was electric. That was a fun time to be a Chargers fan. But I love being a Bills fan, and I got in before they were actually good, which makes me pretty happy. So,
oh yeah. All right, our grand finale here. Before I gotta get going, but where's my Detroit fans? They're not here. They didn't show up. How many people we got on our stream here, Book?
It's showing 64.
Yeah, it doesn't sound accurate, but we know we got Lightmore and TL going strong, so
we can always count on Lightmore and TL. We appreciate you guys more than you know.
That's right. Okay, so I think it's Dove Kleinman, and I don't agree with everything he posts, but I got after it today with some Detroit fans of who is the best. He posted that is Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams, are they the best duo in the NFL? I promptly responded, I don't even think they're top 5. Upon further review, I think they're in the 10-12 range. And so, guys in the chat, where would you rank the Detroit combo of wide receivers? I don't have, and it doesn't even look like I'm going to need all my facts. Because nobody's here to really get into this with us. But, I just let me pull it up quick. But where would you guys rank the Detroit wide receivers? Are they top of the top? Or...
And you're talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you're talking about Jameson Williams, correct?
Correct.
And then what were some of the other duos in the NFL that people were throwing your way?
Well, it wasn't. I was the one throwing. So, sorry, I'm just trying to find it. Too many to scroll through.
You're good. I would be interested in hearing, like, if there's anybody on here with a dog in the fight. Like, are there any NFL duos that you would put, as far as wide receivers go, that you would put above Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown? Ryan Lightmore says currently, yes, they are top 5. Ryan, who would you put? Who else would you put in that top 5?
See, you think they're top 5? I don't think they're top 5.
Who would you put in there?
I'm trying to find my post. Oh, I guess
and
it was
you had Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp.
Without question. Yeah, they had a down year this year. I get it. Without question, they're our top 5.
You also had A.J. Brown. And
easy. Not even a question. They are, and that's not even a homerism. Their stats aren't as high, but like Amon-Ra and AJ are like in the same tier. They're both elite. They're both top 5 guys. Devontae Smith is not even like Devontae Smith is closer to that top 5 elite than he is to Jamison Wilson. Like Jamison Wilson is an elite deep threat. I was gonna post this on it earlier. Like he is the best 5th option in the NFL by far. But he is the 5th option on that team. And so to say they have the best duo is not even like I can't get behind that. And so again, that offense runs through Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Higgins.
Absolutely.
Higgins. That's what Ryan Lightmore says.
Like the no-brainer is Chase and Higgins and AJ Brown and Devontae Smith.
I think Justin Jefferson though and Addison.
They are closer to they are there because JJ is so high. Like he is number 1, and so anybody you pair with him is gonna really. Sorry, here I'm just trying to find my list, so I have it in front of me. I should have done this faster, but
here I
got it now. I got it.
Okay.
And so the one that is up for debate is Tyreek and Waddle. And Tyreek had a little bit of a down year. He's getting a little long in the tooth. Like, is he still that guy? He's still that guy. Tyreek is still the guy every team circles and is like, holy crap, where's he going to be at on the field? And so the Dolphins had a down year, but I would still take Tyreek Hill and Waddle over St. Brown and Jamison Wilson, without question.
Williams.
Williams. My apologies. So, like, top 5, without questions, are Smith and Brown, Higgins and Chase, J.J. Addison, Tyreek and Waddle, Puka Kupp. Like, those are the 5. And I don't even like bums.
Probably because you were calling him Jamison Wilson over and over again.
I'm missing mixing who am I missing here? Jameis
Winston?
I'm mixing Jameis Winston and Wilson. J-Mo.
He's absolutely right. That is kooky. Ryan says that's kooky talk, and he's absolutely right.
I know. Hey, I'm coming off some sickness here. I'm powering through at 9 o'clock on New Year's.
You're doing a great job.
Out of my car. So, you know what, Ryan Lightmore, if we're kooky, we're kooky.
Ryan Lightmore, just so you know, my man over here is doing he's on his side hustle right now, and he's just pulled over to bring us the goodness that is this podcast.
Yeah.
So
we don't need to get into that.
Okay.
Okay, so Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams, that's debatable, but that's more like if you're gonna not say that they're top, if they're above, that's because their offense and their team stinks. I would still take those 2 guys over J-Mo and St. Brown. And I think Jared Goff would. I think I think Devontae Adams showed this year that he is still that dude. And I think Garrett Wilson is the most underutilized, ridiculously talented player in the NFL. Like he should be putting up that JJ Chase type of numbers, but for some reason he's not. And I honestly I hope he gets traded somewhere where they will do it. Tyreek is not a bum, is not washed. Highway rest up, got it. um, anyway, so the other ones I would take Smith and Jigba and DK when healthy. Like that's close, I think, to Amon Ra. And now Amon Ra I think is top 5, and I like no doubt. But like JMO is not like he pulls their ranking down where I think Njigba and DK are both like, hey, these guys could both easily be in the top 15 and nobody has question about it. I think Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, when healthy, are also appreciate you, Book. Freaking guy. Yeah, so I think when healthy, Evans and Godwin are close. But like my biggest criteria is like prove it for a longer period of time. Don't just tell me, hey, they're having one good year. JMO has caught 50 balls for 900 yards, so he's all of a sudden this clear dude in the NFL. Like, show me it for more than one season. He has all the talent in the world to be that guy. Just don't be coming at me with best duo in the NFL. So that's all.
Tell me this. If so, like, I do not know NFL as much as I know college. Where would you put Nico Collins? And like, I know Tank Dell has recently, like, I hope he gets better soon. But like, we're talking Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs. Were they in for the Texans? Were they in this discussion at all, or no?
I think sorry, my headphone just cut off, but I think they're in it. They're probably closer to like. I mean, Nico is incredibly undervalued. I think they also need to prove it a little bit longer before you can put them in that elite tier. And so before you can crack the top 5, I need to see this for 2 or 3 years before I say, hey, you're a top 5 duo in the league. And so Tank Dell, speedy recovery. I think Nico Collins is top 7, top 5 right now. Like he doesn't have the flashy name, and he's not like, I don't know, he's not getting the national media like hype, but he is producing at the same level as these elite guys. Just doesn't, if he was a Dallas Cowboy, he would be getting the CD love kind of push. CD's amazing. I just think Nico, he's just kind of buried in that Houston market. And, but yeah, they're again, I would say Nico and Tank are very close to JMO and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Top 10 to 12, very real shot to jump into that top duo. Hey, 2 years from now, if they're the top duo in the league, I wouldn't be surprised. But you can't put them there right now. Like, get out of here. So.
Get out of here. That's fair enough. What do you think about, okay, last question, and then, yeah. Okay, so Jackson, Smith, and Jigba, and DK Metcalf. If Geno Smith is not at the helm, and you've got a guy like, I mean, if I know this is completely hypothetical, just for fun. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen at the helm. DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Jigba are elite, correct?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, that was fun.
But again, they're not. They need, I think JSN needs a little bit more time to prove it, but I think he's very close to that dude. I don't know what, I've been following Seattle that closely this year, even though we live out here. But JSN has taken over as the top guy there, and I think DK's had some injuries. But DK is the kind of guy where you're like, oh boy, like when you play Detroit, I think you're aware of JMO's speed, but again, he's the fifth option. Like, how am I going to stop Amon-Ra? How am I going to stop this run game? Two-headed monster, which, again, Montgomery's out. How am I going to stop Laporta? How am I going to stop the deep threat? And so, like, that would be the order that I would see stopping Detroit, not like, oh, boy, I'm playing Detroit this week. I need to stop Jameson Williams. Did I nail it?
Yep.
All right. Clearly, my Detroit fans did not show up tonight, but Ryan Lightmore, I think maybe Ryan Lightmore and TL are like a bot.
You guys, no. I think they're real human beings, and genuinely, like, as we get this podcast started, and Kevin and I absolutely love talking college football, but the fact that we can get on this live stream and interact with real humans and get some real opinions and talk about them. Thank you, TL. Thank you, Ryan Lightmore. You guys are OGs. If this thing takes off, we will not forget you.
We will not forget you. Ryan, send us a DM on X. I think we were trying to get you into a listener league if you want it. So, because you were catfishing us last time of I don't play fantasy football, and then you're like, I'm just kidding. I got like 10 different leagues. So,
what about TL? Is he in already?
I don't know if TL's in, but TL, hit us up.
Both of you guys hit us up on DMs on our sideline podcast, and we would love to have you on the listener league. You guys are OGs, so.
TL's on X. I'm pretty sure he's verified. Ryan Lightmore, the jury's still out. He might still be a robot. We're not sure.
He could be a robot.
No, we appreciate you guys coming on. Thanks for powering through my coffin and powering through here in the car. But we enjoy this. Again, Saturdays, 8 p.m. That's our regular time. Just want a special edition here. And we might be doing, I know Booker's wanting to do more live streams throughout the week, but it probably won't be as consistent as the Saturdays at 8. But if there's something, cool to talk about, then we'll jump on and do it. So, especially if Ryan and TL, you boys are going to hop on every time with us, we'll do it more often. So, anyway,
we're here for you guys.
Happy New Year. Talk soon.
Happy New Year.
Bye.